So did you see the documentary on Netflix? What the hell?
Yeah, I actually seen that one. I also saw one called Seaspiracy or something, talking about like the oceans and why fish is polluted and all the things that are wrong with fish and so on and so forth. You know, this documentary on Seaspiracy was basically the concept that how fishing and everything is basically destroying the ocean, so don't eat fish, right?
Okay.
And what the health was basically the same thing, saying don't eat cows. And then there's this other one, Cowspiracy or something. So all of these fucking things are basically saying fucking go to a plant-based diet and become vegan, because if you're not fucking vegan, you're basically destroying the planet. It's portrayed in a manner that's really about, by becoming a vegan, you're saving the planet. There's three elements in these movies that really are outstanding to bring to the forefront. None of them have to do with saving the planet. And every one of them has to do with the core idea behind all of this and what you discover watching this is that there is a significant population control issue. And there's a huge shortage of food supply in the world today. There's even a greater shortage of supply that comes by the year 2050. That's the fucking moral of the story. That's what you need to be concerned about. You don't need to be concerned so much about how much you're destroying the planet or your body, which are both accurate statements, but the fact that there is no solution to fixing the planet unless you can basically find a solution to fixing world hunger. And because this is the core issue that drives all these things to happen. The population is increasing at a rate significantly heavier than the capacity for food. So they have to find new ways to create chickens that don't exist, bring up cows that aren't the healthiest, and get fish that's not the best fish. Why do people in China eat fucking bats? Why do they eat rats? Why do they eat dogs? Why? Because the food supply doesn't fucking exist. Here's the more fucked up part. The government is funding these food supply things. Why? Because they can't afford to have a separate solution to that. It's this never-ending cycle that basically goes, government doesn't have a solution for fucking food supply for poor people. Poor people figured out a solution. They want to eat bats and rats. Government goes, fuck it, help them get more bats and rats. And that's what ends up happening, and no one wants to talk about that. No one wants to talk about that because it's more cool to talk about the fact that they're fucking killing animals. I get that. They're killing fucking animals. It's disgusting. Like, they're killing whales, dolphins. I watch all that shit. It's disgusting. But the point is that it doesn't matter if you're fucking killing a chicken, a whale, or a fucking cow. You're still killing something to feed. And to feed, the issue is because you don't have alternative food. Now, while it's cool to fucking grow plants and shit, and I'm not saying plant-based diets aren't the solution, but we have to face the reality that the whole world doesn't fucking exist on Impossible Burgers from BurgerFi or Beyond Meat from your fucking Whole Foods. There is a mass poverty and mass hunger issue in the world, not just in your country, in your city, or in your state, or in your county, or in your house, is to understand that the global issue is that governments have to basically pay these people to destroy our oceans, to build you fake cows, to kill fucking bats, in order to guarantee that everyone can eat, even if we don't all eat the same fucking thing. There's an important message to get from these documentaries, is that you can't trust half the shit you read online about your health. That's a very fair point, and I think if it shows us anything about anything, it's that. It's that the fucking Susan Kohler, whatever, Institute of Cancer is basically funded by the same people causing cancer. The American Diabetes Society is basically funded by the same people that created diabetes by giving us fucking terrible food. Yeah, you can't have it both ways. You can't have the guy that created the problem also create the cure. That doesn't work. But I think to think naively that the way you solve the world's ocean issues or cow issues or climate change is by basically, telling people to eat fucking plants is delusional, because there are way too many fucking people in the world. And they ain't fucking got access to your fucking plants. They got access to whatever the fuck they can find to eat. And unfortunately, they don't have 8 choices for dinner between different choices of pastas, So you got to think about life that way, and you got to start understanding that there's definitely incredible health resources in these documentaries to understand why you need to stop listening to the shit on the internet or Dr. Phil for how or what you should eat or drink every day. But you should also stop being delusional, thinking that by you stopping to fucking eat fish, somehow is going to prevent a guy in China from eating a fucking bat because he's going to have a Beyond Meat fucking hamburger. So that's what you got to really start understanding about what's happening here in the world around you.